The NFL draft is going on through the weekend, so what better time than now to talk about Draft Day, a 2014 movie all about the excitement and boundless drama that is the NFL draft. So, for years, the NFL has been really pushing to make the draft an event. They've spread it out over 3 days. They televise every round. They televise the combine process for a lot of players, which is like the pre draft scouting. They've really gone all in to make this a big deal over the years. They put the first round in prime time on ABC, ESPN. They have all sorts of networks broadcast. Like they go big. And Draft Day is a movie that the NFL gave tons of help to. You have players popping up in roles. You have Commissioner Roger Goodell making a cameo. Almost every team is represented in some way. It's clear that they worked really hard on their involvement in this and wanted to make it look as exciting and as interesting as possible. And for the most part, it succeeds. I mean, the interesting thing is Draft Day is a movie all about the draft process, all about the prospects that are, potentially going to be drafted. And it ends with no resolution at all about any of the characters that you've met as far as the draft process goes. So it ends without knowing how any of the players or the picks or anything panned out. It is solely devoted to the draft process. Now, it sounds like that would be a really boring procedural type of sports movie, but director Ivan Reitman injects it with all sorts of crazy energy and frantic decisions and shots, while the script itself is just chock full of cliches. It's incredible how many things they pack into this movie, and more than that, it's incredible that most of it works as well as it does. So Kevin Costner plays Sonny Weaver Jr., who's in charge of the Cleveland Browns. He makes a big trade to make the owner happy. The rest of the team is pretty divided about it and upset. And then he kind of starts to have, like, not a crisis of conscience, but he starts to really doubt the move that he's made, and he tries to find a way to undo it. And while all that's going on is like the central story, he's got all sorts of other stuff going on and impacting his day as the clock ticks down, I should say, to draft day. Something that's really played into this movie's advantage since 2014 when it came out is the NFL itself has changed. And I know this is a movie channel, so I'll go very quickly about this, but things in the movie aren't as ridiculous as they first seemed. So the main trade, is based on a real trade that happened with Washington when they moved up to get Robert Griffin III at number 2 in 2012. But since then, picks have not been treated as like priceless commodities like they were and like they're kind of portrayed here. It's like a team like the Rams has no first round picks until 2024, and they've not had a first round pick since 2016 when they drafted Jared Goff. So the picks, they are like, you know what, that's fine. We'll use the picks to get players to help us now. Doesn't matter. And, they've been, for the most part, pretty successful taking that approach. So picks don't have the same high price cachet that they did. They're still valuable, of course, but teams don't hold on to them as tightly. And the other thing is the pre-draft process is definitely getting weirder and weirder as far as like teams meeting players and like the questions they ask. So something in this movie that's a big plot point, which is Kevin Costner, Sonny Weaver, I should say, finds out that no teammates went to quarterback prospect Bo Callahan's birthday party. And that like spirals him into like, oh God, I have to undo this decision. No one went to the birthday party. And it sounds ridiculous. And sports fans in the moment were probably like, what is happening here with this? But questions that get leaked from these draft processes are, that outlandish. Someone told the media this year that they were asked what they would do if they were the last person on planet Earth. If they woke up tomorrow and everyone was gone. And, players get these kinds of questions, like really weird, tough questions. And it's I don't know if it's just for entertainment value for the interviewers, for the teams. I don't know if it's because they have like a critical thinking angle to it. But those two things really have helped this movie age a lot nicer than I think it probably was on track to before. And, that's just how it goes. So this movie is like I said, it's full of stuff. Most of it works, some of it doesn't. I will say a lot of it lends itself well to Ivan Reitman's frantic style. The scenes never linger too long. You're popping from one storyline to the next, basically. The one decision he makes that I don't really enjoy a whole lot is every time there's a phone call or a conversation between two teams, he splits the screen up. So it's like just like a perfect split screen. And the framing of it is weird because it keeps looking like Kevin Costner is just going to walk right into the other frame and just talk to the person face to face. So it's a little jarring at times. I said the performances, I'm not a big Kevin Costner person. I think he has, his roles, they're his strengths, and then, he does really well in those. And then when he steps outside that comfort zone, you kind of get very mixed results. Here, he is very much in that comfort zone. He's not, he's not flashy. He's not doing anything big. He's a steady presence. But he absolutely has the best line of the movie.
Come on, Tom, say it with me, you pancake-eating motherfucker.
Jennifer Garner plays the Browns' financial advisor who is also dating Sonny Weaver on the side. Like, kind of people know, but it's supposed to be secret, which I feel like is a gigantic violation. But they never really get into that side of things. Dennis Leary is the team's head coach, and he is fantastic in his scene. Because, like, while some actors have that thing where you're like, oh, they're just playing themselves again, Dennis Leary pretty much is just playing himself as a football coach, but, like, he pops up so rarely in these things that, like, you're just like, oh, Dennis Leary's a football coach, and, like, you can just enjoy it for what it is. Frank Langella is the owner of the team who kind of sets everything into motion, telling him to go make a big trade, which is, like, I hope he got paid huge or he wanted to work with Ivan Reitman, because he is, like, a cut above the material that he is given and the role that he is given. Like, he is an incredible actor, so he lends even more legitimacy to the proceedings because you buy him as that authority figure. Ellen Burstyn gets a few scenes as Sonny Weaver's mom, and those are a little forced. Ultimately, though, like, the scenes with him and Jennifer Garner, like that whole romantic subplot, feels a little tacked on. It's the one thing that, doesn't disrupt the flow of the movie, but, like, it stands out as something that maybe wasn't there as much originally. Like, it kind of feels like producer notes or something like that. So the last cast I want to talk about are the prospects. So you get really good performances from Terry Crews and actual former NFL running back Arian Foster, who was in the league at the time that this was filmed. He plays Ray Jennings, a running back, and Terry Crews is his father, Earl Jennings, who was a running back for the Browns actually before. So it's like that legacy type of thing. And their scenes, they don't really get a lot to do, but they have a really natural chemistry together. Like, for being, an athlete and not an actor at the time, Arian Foster's a really charismatic presence in the movie. Like, he carries himself like a football player because he is, but he's believable and engaging as a character. He just naturally has a charisma that you enjoy watching as an audience. The real standout here, though, who absolutely stands out in every scene that he's in, is Chadwick Boseman as Vontae Mack, who is a linebacker that is, Sonny Weaver's top prospect, basically. And the emotion and the heart he brings to his scenes, it's a role that could easily just be like a sports cliche, but he plays it so strong and is just, you feel his emotion, you see all the charisma, you see the charm, you get basically like the whole package in this supporting role where he comes in and is like, all right, well, may just be a supporting role, but I'm going to make sure audiences remember me. And at the end of the day, every time I watch this movie, all I think about is it's always Vontae Mack. Vontae Mack, no matter what. And that's this movie, I think, was originally going to just be one of those, like, oh, put it on in the background, let's see. But, like, as it ages and ages better, I think, than you would expect, you see the performances. It's an engaging, light, fun movie to watch. Like, I could see this becoming something that the NFL fully starts to lean into. I think you could see 24 hours of draft day, similar to how you get 24 hours of A Christmas Story on Christmas Eve. It's like, I could see the NFL leaning into it one day as this continues to build more and more of a following that's not just like a cult following or people that, think it's so bad it's good. I absolutely enjoy it. I think it's a great Um, Great, quick, easy movie to watch anytime, but like especially now with all the draft talk and everything up in the air. If you have thoughts on the movie, I would love to hear them in the comments. If you have thoughts, review, opinions, anything at all, please drop it there. Thank you for watching, and I will be back soon.